Good evening, my friends. How are you? I wanted to talk a little bit about chaos today. Sometimes in life, agents of chaos will come and shake things up for you, and they will change your circumstances whether you want them to or not. One thing is certain about this life is that we cannot control the outcome, we cannot control the bend of the river. You are in a river. That river has flowing waters and it has a current, it has a direction, and it will pull you. And if you don't resist it, it will carry you away. And sometimes those bends in the river feel very confusing. They feel very unexpected. They can cause you to be stirred or shaken all the way down to your spirit level. Sometimes they may not. When the agents of chaos come and they shake you, you really only have a few options. You can either account for the change and adapt. You can go with the flow. You can pretend it's not happening. You don't have a whole lot of options. Um, and in the end, if you're proactive and you really go after it, you should be okay, no matter what happens, regardless of if you agree with it or not, regardless of if you feel that justice has been done. There's always a road through. It's not like we sign a waiver when we come into this world, a waiver which says there's some kind of, there's no liability waiver where we forfeit our rights by coming in, is what I'm saying. Um, but according to the laws of nature, your rights don't exist. They are forfeit. The laws of the physical world that you live in, there are no natural rights present in the trees, in the lions, in the animals. These things don't exist. These are comforts that we have created. We've chosen to create things like rights. In the wild, there simply is. There's that which is contested, there's that which is produced. That's it. Concepts like deserve, earned, all of these things, they're not natural. These are unique to us, and we're better for them. They're great concepts, they're beautiful concepts. They enhance the world we live in, but they're not natural. And because we live in a natural world, from time to time, agents of chaos will emerge and your life will be changed. Sometimes it will be by nature, sometimes it will be by man, sometimes it will feel just, sometimes it will feel random. It doesn't matter. Your life will be changed nonetheless. And even though there is no contract where you forfeit your rights, there's also no agreement clause. You never gave consent to be here either. You never said, I opt in to all forms of punishment, whether I deem them just or not. You simply are here. You were thrust into this world. And justice was never a part of that equation. And so, the best thing that you can do in these moments where everything is changed and everything is shaken is to resist the urge to moralize. Morals are not part of the equation typically. What you'll find as you live longer and longer is that most of the chaos which emerges abruptly in your life is amoral. It's not moral and it's not immoral. It's amoral, so to speak. It simply is. And the less you moralize it, the faster you'll be able to address it and deal with it. And typically, the way that you deal with a moment of chaos is by ascertaining whether or not you need to make a change or whether or not you need to continue as you were. Which strategy will be the best? If you continue as you were, wonderful. Continue. Triple down, double down, do even more than you were doing before. If you need to make a change, decide what kind. Sometimes the change is not a change of direction, but rather a change of strategy or approach. Sometimes it is a change of direction, and you'll need to decide that for yourself based on the context. There's no universal prescriptive response that I could offer. One of the oldest stories, and it's almost becoming cliche because it's been spoken of a lot, especially on the internet by types like Jordan Peterson, for example, is the story of Beowulf, the hero who goes into the dragon, saves the virgin, gets the treasure, and um, alleviates the impending doom from the dragon in the nearby cave and saves the village, etc. And everyone lives happily ever after. It's the hero's myth, the hero's journey. It's Lord of the Rings, it's Harry Potter, it's the same story over and over and over again. But it's important to remember that that archetype of story is a story. It is a mythology, it is a metaphor, it is to inspire us, much like Abraham, to go out into the world and to attempt to conquer it. But there are also stories written, such as Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones is loosely inspired by a real series of events called the War of the Roses, or the Plantagenet dynasty of England, where eventually the Magna Carta was produced in response to the absolute and abject tyranny that the British people suffered at the hands of French Vikings for hundreds of years. And the thing that's concerning about that is that the Game of Thrones stories are predicated on a reality which was chaotic. And in fact, the Plantagenet dynasty emerged from a period in the UK known as the Great Anarchy, or the Anarchy, more succinctly said, which is why the French Vikings went over there in the first place, because they realized that in that chaos there was opportunity. And in the years and centuries of infighting and monarchic incestual bloodshed, the British people realized that there was opportunity in that chaos too, held the king by sword in the middle of a church, and forced him to sign the Magna Carta, which was the beginning of British Parliament in a sense, and English common law, and on and on and on. The consequences of that reverberate throughout history. And so, assess your situation, understand what degree of threat there actually is. Some of the great philosophers in history, such as Seneca the Younger, who was alive about 2,000 years ago, had words for us such as, "We are injured more often in imagination than reality." And nothing could be more true than when the agents of chaos emerge and we feel unjustly targeted by them. A lot of it is in your head because nature doesn't moralize. It is simply an entropic place. There is chaos here. And you'll survive it. As long as you do survive, you're still alive. This is one of the messages that I keep hearing from my friends and brothers in the Orthodox Church, which is that it is important to release things that you're holding on to that are not helping you. In this way, you'll be more able to transcend and to move on and to do what you really need to do. With that, my friend, I will leave you. I pray you find strength if the agents of chaos come to you, and that you have the wisdom and the presence of mind to aim for constructive and productive measures and to carefully assess what your strategy will be. Are you going to double down? Are you going to change your strategic approach? Are you going to change your direction? And my advice to you is going to be the same as it always is. This will require an application of freedom of will. This will require a certain level of contextual wisdom. You'll want to be operating in a faith position. I don't mean that in a religious sense, I mean that in a flexibility sense. You don't know what the right answer is. When the agents of chaos come, everything is all over the place, and you'll need to find a way to keep your feet on the ground. Don't let your panic, your fear, don't let paranoia creep in. Do what has to be done to make things right, one way or another. And if that means that you change your strategy, if that means that you find a new place to be, if that means that you triple down on the things that you were doing correctly, whatever the case, or any blend of the above, do them nobly. Do your best not to complain. And I have faith in this, that you will see yourself through to a better tomorrow. You don't have to do it alone. Sometimes it may feel that way, but there are always ways to be accompanied if you seek them. My friend, have a good night. If you feel inspired to leave a comment, please do. If you have the urge to like and subscribe to see more videos like this one in the future, please do. And I wish you a very good night. Best of luck with the Agents of Chaos. I'll see you in the next one.